Lord forgive me for this trap shit. Sergeant Smack making backflip. Telly Hank did with the action. With the vital speaking Spanish. Frank Matthews, how I vanish. Poof. Came back like I'm King Tut. Gold BBS is on a beamer. When Fat Cat was 10 queens up. Ball off the profit, not the re-up. Fly like Puerto Rican Jesus. Uptown like I'm Baby May. Just caught a touchdown from the bay.
That's not all. According to the complaint, Anderson also doused a man identified as KS with gas, set him on fire, and then shot him as he was running away. Those last 3 people survived. They named Anderson as the one who tried to kill them.
According to a criminal complaint, on September 17, 2016, police were dispatched to an area near 53rd and Clark, where they found a male victim on fire. A 911 caller had indicated the victim was yelling, "I can't believe my guys did this to me." The victim, Cottrell Scott, would suffer 2nd and 3rd degree burns to his face, chest, and lower abdomen. Lucky to be alive, he would suffer over 60% burns on his body, with his injuries being determined to be life-threatening. It would be weeks before investigators would have a chance to talk to him. And when they did, what he would describe to them was wicked.
I got set on fire.
Were you in pain?
Yeah. You can't even...
How long were you in the hospital?
Almost 4 months.
And was there a time when you were in a coma?
Yes.
How long were you in a coma?
Almost 2 months.
Did you consent to anyone setting you on fire?
Hell no. Excuse me. No. Then they was like, somebody was like, go get the gas.
And do you remember who that was?
No, I don't remember who went and got it. Cause it was times where I was putting my head on the floor and bringing it back up to look to see what's going on. But then I look up, I see him with the gas can. No, before that though, I was like, I had told him like, man, y'all really gonna set me on fire?
And then did the defendant do anything with the gas can?
Poured it on me.
What did he do next?
Poured it on my fiance.
And then what did the defendant do?
Then I was like, man, I was still saying like, man, y'all really gonna do this, you know what I mean? And I was like, well, you know what I'm saying? They was like, well, where it's at? I said, man, I don't got nothing, man. You know what I'm saying? And then he was like, well, you know what's about to go down. I'm like, man, well, if y'all gonna do it, then let me pray first. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, well, let me pray first. I prayed, and then next thing you know, when I held my head up, I seen the lighter coming down, and fire just went up my face.
What did you do?
Man, I jumped up, and I ran. I knew the house. You know what I'm saying? I jumped up, and jumped out the window,
Once you got outside your house, what happened?
I was rolling around trying to, I guess the little stop, drop, and roll, the technique they teach you in school, that shit wasn't working. And then next thing I know, I hear my neighbor. She was like, oh, Cottrell, what happened? Who did this to you? And by then I had took like all my clothes off, and I thought later on they was like, you ain't supposed to do that. But by then I was naked, and she done laid on me. You know what I mean? I'm still on fire. She laid on me. And then I remember opening my eyes again, and then her daughter was pouring water on me. And then after that, I just remember the ambulance.
Between September and November of 2016, a 25-year-old high-ranking gang member will be charged with a series of murders and attempts that would terrorize Milwaukee's northwest side.
New at 10, web of violence.
A newly unsealed search warrant shows a series of murders and attempted murders across the city's northwest side.
Rebecca Clough has been sorting through the paperwork, and she finds it all leads to one thing: drugs.
That's right, Carolyn, George. Heroin, specifically. They're all part of a Milwaukee gang called Brothers of Struggle, or BOSS. Christopher Anderson faces a list of charges: first-degree homicide, attempted homicide, kidnapping, armed robbery, and that's just the start. According to court records, he's a member of the Boss Street Gang, known for selling heroin and carrying out violence on the city's northwest side. Last year, Anderson allegedly killed this man's brother because he was cooperating with police over a shooting on the freeway.
50 shots fired, multiple cars hit, and now 2 men charged with last week's wild shootout on the freeway. And our Ben Handelman has uncovered the suspects are under investigation for an even more serious crime. Ben's live tonight at the county courthouse. Ben.
Hey, Brad, good evening. And we are learning a lot more details now that charges have been filed today in the county courthouse behind me. Really, it's pretty amazing that nobody was seriously injured or killed out on the roads. And tonight we're learning of a possible new link between what happened out on the freeway and a recent murder.
Horrible example
It was a wild shootout,
of individuals who are so brazen in their criminality.
leaving the freeway shut down for hours last Wednesday. Investigators scouring I-43 for evidence and cars left riddled with bullets. Tuesday, 2 men have been charged. Jerome Johnson and Martise Macklin Dyson together now face nearly a dozen felony charges. A newly released criminal complaint shedding new light into a terrifying ride. According to the complaint, 2 guys got on I-43 when near Highland. They told police they heard pops and noticed their rear window was blown out. One of the men told authorities people in a black car were trying to kill them, and he had no idea why. His passenger, a concealed carry permit holder, returned fire. Authorities say unreleased surveillance video shows not 1, but 2 cars following the men down the interstate. The high-speed shootout ended in the Marquette interchange when the pursuing black Infiniti hit a wall. Investigators say video shows 2 men ditching the second car and getting into the badly damaged sedan. Off-duty Milwaukee detectives would soon spot the Infiniti near Marquette University, leading to a foot chase. Johnson and Macklin Dyson are now in custody.
Investigators say Anderson also tried to kill 2 other witnesses for a fellow gang member. That's not all. According to the complaint, Anderson also doused a man identified as KS with gas, set him on fire, and then shot him as he was running away. Those last 3 people survived. They named Anderson as the one who tried to kill them. The unsealed documents show just how far Anderson and his fellow gang members were willing to go to kill and intimidate witnesses, allegedly orchestrating one of the murders from jail. Christopher Anderson is currently awaiting trial for those multiple charges against him. Some of the other Boss gang members have already been convicted of their crime. Carol and George.
Tangled web. Thank you, Rebecca.
You should not be given another opportunity to do what you have done.
With those words, a judge sentenced 24-year-old Christopher Anderson of Milwaukee to 2 life prison terms without the chance of parole. He was charged for 2 murders dating back to October of last year. Anderson also got additional years added to the sentence for kidnapping and an attempted homicide charge.
According to a criminal complaint on April 24, 2017, a correction officer working inside the criminal justice facility near 9th and State in downtown Milwaukee observed one inmate passing a note to another inmate headed into a classroom. The correctional officer seized the note. It would read, "I'm getting life." A little later, as that same inmate goes to exit the classroom, the correction officer would state that he observed him and the same inmate from earlier shaking hands, and he could tell that something was passed between the two. The correction officer would go on to seize the note, and this time it would read something way more sinister. What it do, cuz? I might get life in 40. But I ain't tripping because I'm going to put in that appeal. I want them rats dead on Tay grave. BOS, boy. Guns. The note would go on to list the name of the snitches, along with addresses. Snitch number 1, 40th and Burley. Snitch number 2, 37th and Garfield. Snitch number 3, 9th and Wright. The note would be linked back to a 25-year-old who had been recently convicted in a high-profile trial that when it was all said and done, he would be looked at as one of Milwaukee's most ruthless killers, Christopher Anderson, who authorities alleged to be a member of BOS, or the Brothers of Struggle, a gang that, based on my research, was formed in the 1960s or so in Chicago by reputed gangster Larry Hoover and about 15 other guys that, like many other gangs from nearby Chicago, would obviously make its way to Milwaukee. Court documents would state that on October 6, 2016, he would fatally shoot a guy by the name of Javaris Johnson, who I'm going to give y'all a wild fact about in the end. Just 6 days later, on October the 12th, 2016, authorities believed that Christopher Anderson took the life of a guy by the name of Vincent Williams near 21st Street in Isla. And then, in between September and November of 2016, he would be charged along with 3 others in connection with that violent home invasion, armed robbery / kidnapping that we seen a victim testifying about earlier, on top of an attempted shooting and a homicide case for one of his associates. And by early December 2016, he would end up being convicted on the 2 homicides of Javaris Johnson and Vincent Williams and sentenced to life in prison. He would get separate sentences of 30, 10, and 5 years for the other charges, leading up to a few months later on April 24th, 2017, where he would be charged with that kite that authorities believed was a hit. Now, the wild fact I spoke about earlier about Chris Anderson's first alleged homicide victim, Jarvis Johnson, is he was actually killed because his brother was believed to be cooperating with authorities on that freeway shooting that we looked at earlier. Almost a year after authorities believed Chris Anderson took his life, his brother, who was involved in that shooting on the freeway that they believe cooperated, was actually also murdered on August 4th, 2017, by men that authorities believe were retaliating for that same exact freeway murder. So if that don't go to show you, you can't escape the streets. He did a slide with somebody, got caught, flipped on him, was able to get out of that situation. He get out, get a new lease on life, and then just happened to run into some people that feel a certain way about what happened on the freeway. Man, we can't make this shit up. This shit mob ties. Y'all make sure y'all hit the red bell and subscribe button right under this video so y'all know when this real trill spill shit is dropping. Y'all get in the comment box below. Y'all let me know what cities we need to go to, what stories we need to tell, what we missed, what we got wrong, all of that. Y'all definitely hit me direct. Instagram, Twitter, POP_A_LOT. And until the next play, y'all know how we rocking. Shades Popalot. Salute the almighty Mobb.